Hey guys, this is Stafford here, and I hope you have a fantastic house church together. It is a down week this week, and that's a week where we encourage you as a house church to get out in your community and serve. If your house church is anything like ours, we can kind of struggle with doing consistent down weeks. So if you don't have something planned this week, take time today, right now, to plan what you guys will do as a service opportunity in your community 4 weeks from now for the next down week, so you have something ready to go. We just finished a second sermon in our treasure series, where we're looking at finances and how it ties in to our relationship with God and our heart. And we talked about debt today. And debt is not as exciting or even a pleasant thing to talk about. But I want to walk you through my question, light bulb, arrow moments together. So when I was doing this, my question that came up is all debt bad? As someone who has debt, is that a bad thing? Is all debt bad? Should I avoid debt at all costs? Is all of it tied to my heart? Is it okay to acquire some debt? How much debt is good? Have a conversation about that. Try and figure it out. Where do you feel debt is? Is it a bad thing? Should you avoid it all the time? Can you take some of it on? Dive into that. That was my question. Is all debt bad? My light bulb moment came as I was doing some of my study, and I couldn't work it into my sermon, but I wanted to share it with you in this house church video. I want you guys as a host church to take just a moment and read Matthew 13. It's a parable that Jesus tells, a parable of the sower, where the sower goes out and spreads seeds out there. And one of the things I was trying to connect in my sermon was that debt and worry can actually make us inefficient in our faith, that we can take our eyes off of the kingdom of God and put it onto our bank account and our debt that we have, and we actually can't live up the life that Jesus is calling us to lead. When I reference the parable of the sower, there's something that jumps out at me right away. And it is found in verse 20 or 22. Jesus says, "The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word," but check this out, "but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke out the word, making it unfruitful." Wealth actually takes us away from God's kingdom and what he wants us to be doing there. That came as just a light bulb moment, saying there is something more with money and my heart and God's call in my life, and I just have to be really aware of it. Kind of ties into my conviction. And my conviction isn't so much that I need to shed my debt. I actually have a pretty good plan on how to get rid of my debt. We've been following the "I was broke, now I'm not" way of getting rid of debt, and I see my debt shrinking, and that's good. It's liberating, so I don't feel convicted in that way. I think my conviction is I just need to be really aware of how my money and the finances affect what God has called me in my life. That I need to pay close attention to that. That there is a calling that I have, and I need to just really pay attention of whenever I find my heart coveting or wanting or being greedy, that is now a red flag. I need to be aware. That is me working against what God has called me to do. So I hope you have a great house church talking about money. I know it can be uncomfortable because we don't like maybe being so personal and even being vulnerable enough to say, hey, I need help with my finances, or being so vulnerable as in to say, I actually have a question. I encourage you, go there. And also as a house church, we only have a little bit of time left. If you want to grow in your stewardship and how you can handle your finances, how you can make sure that your heart and your finances align with what God has called you to do, take just a moment, go to mypack.tv, and you'll find a tab there. It says IWBNIN, I was broke, now I'm not. Sign up to take the I was broke, now I'm not course. It's 6 weeks. It can completely transform your future. Have a great house church, everyone. I'm excited about where this treasure series is going. May you have a fruitful conversation.